app just got hacked after a massive influx of users, and what started as a platform for women to support each other and stay safe from toxic men has spiraled into a full-on legal mess, you guys. There's so much being said right now about the app, the data breach that just took place, and especially about the men being exposed. So let's dive into this insanity, because women are now fearing for their lives because of this data breach. So if you've been paying attention to your social feeds as of late, you may have heard the recent chatter about Tea, an app that functions like Yelp, but instead of rating and reviewing restaurants and stores, women pass judgment on men they know. The deep, dark secrets of men behind the mask they put on. Here's how it works in a nutshell. The app is strictly for women, and it works kind of like those "Are we dating the same guy" Facebook groups. Women have to submit a photo of themselves when they sign up, and then they can use anonymous usernames to rate and review men they've dealt with, whether it was dating, talking, or anything more than that. Once inside the app, users can browse photos of local men or men from other states, complete with names and community-sourced green or red flags. While the app claims its mission is to protect women online, it's also stirred controversy, especially from men who say they're worried about being misrepresented or even doxxed. And at first, when this app was going viral around 2 weeks ago, a lot of people were like, why are men even getting pressed about this app? Surely if you've got nothing to hide and your past is clean, what's there to be defensive about? I mean, the app's literally designed to protect women from toxic men who keep causing damage and face no repercussions for their actions. But then things escalated, you guys. Some men started coming forward saying the posts about them were straight up false, and it got so bad that some men started even threatening legal action, calling it defamation, saying the claims being made about them on the app were not to be taken lightly. Now, I can't confirm whether everything said about certain men on the app is true or not, but what I can say is that a lot of women have come forward, some literally in tears, after finding out the man they've been dating or even married to for years has been listed on Tea, with other women sharing their own experiences with them. And let's be real, this isn't light stuff. We're talking about women realizing their time, their youth, and their trust were invested in someone who wasn't at all who he claimed to be. Some of these women even have kids with these men. So the emotional toll, you guys, I can't even imagine. And some are saying the app gave them the receipts they needed, like the kind of proof that confirmed everything they suspected to leave their man. Now, it has been a couple of weeks, and I'm sure you've seen it all over the news now. Tea has been hacked, and a major data breach just went down. Apparently, users on 4chan and Reddit reportedly pulled off the breach and leaked sensitive information, including the verification photos women submitted when signing up. So yeah, that means actual selfies and even driver's licenses, you guys. It's being reported that around 72,000 images were accessed without permission, including about 13,000 ID and verification selfies, plus 59,000 images from posts, DMs, and comments that were publicly viewable within the app. And before we get into how the company Tea is responding to this, here's why people are seriously panicking. It's not just about the photos, you guys. It's about personal privacy. Think phone numbers, home addresses, and other deeply private information potentially being exposed. It's basically being said the app had zero security measures in place at one point, and now it's come back to bite users in the butt. And a lot of people feel like the developers should be held liable.
The Tea app data breach is a lot worse than we originally thought. So every single user of the Tea app had their personal data leaked today. The leakers who got the data now have all the info of every single person on the Tea app, like where they live, everything. And originally it was thought that they got this info from the IDs of the people, because the Tea app at one point did require you to have an ID, but it got rid of that a little while ago. So then how did the leakers get all of the info based on just selfies of people that posted to the app, you might be saying? Well, it turns out the leakers just used the metadata from those selfies to get all this information. Now, this metadata includes things like the exact location where that picture was taken. It's kind of like when you go to your camera roll and you search for a place on there, and it starts coming up with a lot of pictures from that place that are in your camera roll. That's the metadata doing that for you. Now, normally when photos are stored for verification, they'll run through a program that sort of removes the metadata for them. But of course, the Tea app had absolutely nothing like that. They just left the metadata on every single photo. Now, if this teaches you anything, it should be that if you upload any photo to anywhere online from this point forward, you should run that photo through a program that removes the metadata, so you won't have to worry about problems like this.
And secondly, women are scared for their safety now, because now they don't know what people are going to do with their information, with their photos, or who could be coming after them based on their selfies or what they posted about other men on the app. All over Reddit, people have been expressing their concerns. This is very scary, only because what about DV victims who are trying to look out for other women? Shake my head. Yep, and of course, every man freaking out about it, including some in my inbox, docs are all women will just go on there and lie about abuse. Meanwhile, the same men on 4chan crying about lying women immediately jump to grape threats. This person attached a photo on what seems to be the 4chan forum. Absolutely disgusting. Seems like a man wrote this. They said, "I hope all the women using it get doxxed and relentlessly stalked and harassed to hell for the rest of their lives. They would 100% deserve it." This was a ticking time bomb. The developers of the app are 99% responsible for it. All of the information was stored in a public Firebase bucket, unencrypted. That means anyone with the link could view everything. What a garbage app in terms of data protection, that being none. I heard they had accurate GPS data on the phones of the users too. Really scary stuff right now. Can't believe the app developers played that fast and lose with such important information. We need some legislation to hold companies responsible for data breaches. I'm sure not in this administration, but perhaps the next Congress administration might care. I started making an account, but it requires you to submit a selfie. That's when I deleted the app. LOL. I didn't want to give my real information. Now I'm relieved. Women can't be safe anymore. Men ruin everything. Now, as I mentioned, the T app has responded. They have been getting a lot of comments about this data breach situation on their socials, specifically on their Instagram. They have responded to a comment where someone asked them to address the data breach ordeal, and here's what they had to say. They said, "We always want this space to feel safe, honest, and supportive. So here's what we need you to know. First off, please know that if you signed up for T after February 2024, all your data is secure. We recently discovered unauthorized access to an old archived system that stored about 72,000 user-submitted images, including approximately 13,000 images of selfies and photo identification submitted during account verification, and 59,000 images publicly viewable in the app from posts, comments, and direct messages from over 2 years ago." They said this data was stored to meet law enforcement standards around cyberbullying prevention. "We've acted fast. Our team and trusted security experts are working around the clock. At this time, we have no evidence that any current or additional data was accessed. Additionally, please note that these photos can in no way be linked to posts within T." So that seems like a good sign. Now look, I'm not saying victims shouldn't speak out about abuse they've experienced, but I do also understand it's not hard to picture a post calling someone abusive or narcissistic that was actually written by like a jealous friend or a salty coworker or even an ex who's been hurt in the past. I get both perspectives, to be honest. So this is a very nuanced situation when it comes to apps like these, but I want to know what you guys think. At the end of the day, whether you see Tia as a tool for empowerment or a platform for chaos, it's clear the conversation around dating, privacy, and accountability is far from over, you guys. Let me know what you think about all of this. This is crazy. I love you guys so much, and as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.